Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the IronSquid, and it is indeed a super show today because we've got 4 best of 3s, and this is our final series between mousesports MaNa, who is in the green trunks, playing Protoss to the northeast of the Cloud Kingdom, versus his opponent. It is the one and only new star Hozo's Jjakji. He is in the blue trunks, playing Terran to the southwest.
And back on the recent patch, back on the most up-to-date patch, of course. So
yes, we are up-to-date.
Even though it's Terran versus Protoss, of course, the Ghosts, once again, will be able to snipe High Templar. But nothing really changed here, to be honest.
Nice and fresh, this one.
Yeah, nice and new. Cloud Kingdom could see aggression come out here from Jjakji. MaNa's strengths are always in his late game here. He's very, very good at defending against early pressure, drop harassment, and then just playing really good, solid unit control-based fights. Jjakji, likewise, is pretty good against Protoss too. He's had his up and downs though, most recently struggling though, but he's had the best Protoss players to play against in the world, such as Oz, parting from the Codex career. So he's going to be, you know, not really scared about anything. He's probably going into this game feeling, well, I play against the best Protoss players in the world. This is probably going to be easier for me than it would do normally, but he may be for a surprise.
Aha. Indeed. The foreign hope right here in the form of MaNa did destroy MMA, and is now looking to do the same to another Korean Terran. And he is one of the few Protoss in the world that can actually do that on a regular basis.
Yeah, I mean, he's so good, and that's why people say that he is one of the best in Europe in this matchup. We do see the gas going down for Jjakji, so options are already starting to open up. Of course, you know, Reaper expand into you know, anything, could even be for a fast factory here. But remember, the winner of this, guys, will be going first or equal first with MMA at the top there. MMA, of course, dropping a game to gate against MaNa. Currently, both of these guys we're seeing now a 1-1 within the group. This is going to be a very important win, and of course a disastrous loss for either of these guys. So a very, very important game.
Yeah, you know what? I feel that foreigners in this matchup, unless you're called Stephano, actually do have a bit of an edge. And the reason being that I feel foreigners know the Korean players they're up against like the backs of their hands, yeah? They'll have researched them, they'll have watched an awful lot of them, whereas Koreans don't really know foreigners as well. And I have to wonder if this is giving MaNa a bit of an edge here.
Yeah, it does give a small edge, because you could be like, alright, well, Jjakji's known for a little bit more aggression rather than macro play, so you know, MaNa's going to already be having that in his mind, and he'll have no idea, of course, Jjakji, how MaNa does play. We do see a Chronoboost Stalker out, so that he can go out and scout with the Zealot and Stalker, and probably just a 1 gateway expand here, but we do see the double barracks coming down. Triple barracks coming down here for Jjakji, so a lot of pressure early on here, but to be honest, this is not that good of a build here, and I'm going to have to see how this is going to work out, because if this is just a regular 1 gateway expansion, and depending when MaNa throws down his extra gateways, if he isn't too greedy and throws them down on 30 supply, then this should be okay.
My concern is this: he opens with a Reaper, then goes immediately into Concussive Shell, yeah, and puts down a couple more barracks. It's a wonky opening. It's a little bit odd, and my concern is that MaNa misreads it after seeing the Reaper. But it already hasn't done that. He's put down 2 more gateways, so 3 racks has not been good for a very long time, especially not in this way. So what do you think Jjakji's got in mind here?
Well, he's going for a kill. That's you know, as pure as it can be. But the thing is, though, that MaNa's build is not altered by anything. He hasn't seen anything. He's just playing a very standard style. He'll go down the robotics facility as soon as he gets to the 100 gas next. But he does have 2 sentries, which can easily push the Reaper back as well. And he's just looking in fantastic shape to hold this off, to be honest. I mean, he can even, if he throws down the robotics filter very shortly here, Chronoboost and Immortal out to even hold this on. The Stalker goes up, sees a Marauder, sees a Tech Lab, sees a couple of units as well there just below, so he knows that some form of pressure is coming to him. So he's actually going to be in great shape to hold this robotics facility coming down now, and I really can't see Jjakji pulling this off.
Yeah, and I have to wonder if Jjakji then just tries to expand. But the thing is, like, if he expands from this position, he's behind. I mean, he didn't expand as fast as he should have on 1 racks. He invested a bunch of gas into tech and, of course, a hell of a lot of money. And when you end up with 3 racks, and this is a mistake that a lot of, say, low league players make. Obviously, Jjakji has a plan in mind, but the point is that you expand this so late that if you don't do so much damage versus the Protoss player, you basically just lose the game at that point.
Yeah, you do. So he has to do damage here, otherwise he's going to lose the game. That's as pure simple it is. There is 1 Marauder to every 3 Marines, so it's actually quite Marine heavy. So an Immortal, even though good, isn't going to help out that much here. It's purely just going to be, you know, Sentry, good Force Fields, and he cannot afford to lose his 2 Stalkers. Actually, he does retreat with them. He knows it's coming now. Will warp in his final last few units here, which is going to have to be like 2 Zealots and a Stalker maybe, and has to be so careful here.
Yeah, there's even a Reaper in there just to make matters a little bit worse, and the force fields go down, and he does get the split on that army, but as you said, very Marine heavy. The Zealots managed to smash their way through half of that, but the Zealot wall is now gone here, but hey, up on the high ground, we've got that Stalker now just picking off units here and there, and there's not much left of this attack.
Yeah, and he can easily pull probes to help buffer here. He doesn't, you know, as long as the bunker doesn't go down, that's fine. So he's going to have to pull probes here. All MaNa has to do is hold on to this, and if he doesn't pull probes, he could still lose this.
Yeah, he could, and I'm actually kind of surprised that he's not doing that. He's allowing these bunkers to go up here, taking quite a lot of firepower as the reinforcements come in. Good control here by MaNa, but one way or the other, he will still end up going down. They can't let those bunkers go up, surely, but that one's very close to happening.
Yeah, I'm really surprised he's not pulling down probes. And the Mortal is coming out, and the second
bunkers
SCV...
up! Oh, he didn't get that last SCV. A really nice decision there by Jjakji to bring 1 extra. Now there's a bunker up on the natural. That is absolutely crazy game so far. Really aggressive start from Jjakji, where he's like, oh, you know, he tends to play very, very safe. Absolutely not. But Immortals are really good against bunkers, so this was going to crack quite quickly here.
Yeah, and he does break it down, but still, you know, the Immortal, if that goes down, he's going to be left with just Stalkers again. There are 7 Marines and a Marauder here.
Oh,
he goes.
Wow, why does he let it that... I am just flabbergasted that he let that Immortal die to those Marines. He just ran it right in there, and now more damage coming in that might even justify all of this expenditure, and the expansion is coming down behind this. This entire probe line's looking to get annihilated here, and this leaves MaNa to count the cost of, quite frankly, a rather bad engagement there from him. 11 workers killed, 5 lost by Jjakji, and now he's expanding behind this, but the follow-up is going to be 3 more gateways, going to kind of 6-gate pressure with Immortals.
Yeah, he's just going to go for a killing blow. I mean, Jjakji, like we said, had to kill MaNa there. MaNa did make that very scary for everybody watching, but Jjakji didn't kill him. Therefore, he has a tech advantage and an economic advantage also. 6 gateways now with 2 Immortals is going to be able to just go down and I feel going to be able to kill our dear friend Jjakji here, who doesn't have Medivacs out yet, which are going to be key in defending this. 2 bunkers are going down, but with double Immortals, he should make, you know, short work of them once again here. And we do see now MaNa moving forward, does have a probe and pylon in the center of the map, and will start marching towards that natural area of Jjakji. Observer sees everything too, so MaNa cannot really make bad judgment calls here, of course, because he sees exactly what he's going up against.
Yeah, and Jjakji's going to have to put on a fairly incredible hold here in order to deal with that. And in fact, he's actually just going to push out at the moment. Maybe try and catch some of this army out of position, nail down a pylon. Perhaps he suspects that is the case. I mean, this SCV saw the 4 Stalkers, didn't see anything else, so he's not entirely sure what he's going up against here. But that's it. That's the 3 Immortals. That's the composition you go with this 6-gate pressure. And... well, 3 Immortals is just going to batter down those bunkers so fast. This is going to be hard, very hard to hold.
Yeah, and if he gets caught out of position like MaNa's seen already, and he moves his force, then this could even, you know, be even easier than it should be already. There are a decent amount of Marines and Marauders, 14 Marines, 8 Marauders, but the composition with Guardian Shield is, of course, just better for MaNa here, and he has to be behind these bunkers, and oh my god, he actually salvaged the bunkers. Of course, Jjakji is blind. He doesn't know what he's playing against, but he's about to walk into a brick wall.
Wow, the infamous scouting factory is not going to earn its wages today, I'm afraid. The SCV sees the Stalkers, doesn't know about the Immortals. There's the thing at the back with the pylon, and now he's just going to go for it. Actually walks his Stalkers directly into a bunch of Marauders, losing a couple, which is not exactly ideal. Some uncharacteristic slip-ups right here by MaNa, but it may just be enough to smash through. Down go those force fields, and will MaNa be able to break his way through here, or will Jjakji actually hold on? The lack of Zealots is really hurting. Jjakji stims forward, going for one of those Immortals, takes down one, the second one coming down as well. Jjakji with an unbelievable hold here.
Yeah, Medivac's really making the big difference here, and unfortunately, Stalkers were at the front there and took a lot of damage early on. MaNa had a lot of money backed up, didn't really reinforce into that well enough and early enough, and now all of a sudden tables have been turned, and Jjakji is on, you know, a bunch of barracks here. He added on a lot of barracks. There is no third command center, and he's working off 5 barracks behind this, and now the pressure's right back onto MaNa, who just doesn't have that power force of those Immortals like just now. And all of a sudden, things are getting very ugly for the Mouse Sports player.
And it shouldn't have happened either when you think about it. You know, he should have been able to hold against that 3 racks better than he did, and then that engagement should have been much better. He really has thrown his advantage away, and Jjakji is going to go full on and punish him for it. And I have to wonder if MaNa just ended up being just a little bit tilted by that uncharacteristic 3 racks aggression coming out of Jjakji, and now he's going to have to defend against a far superior force with reinforcements coming in from the back, and he sees what's up. He's got an observer right there, and well, he's thinking this is a little grim.
Yeah,
he even gets
look at the Medivac count. It's at 5 Medivacs now, as these units won't even die now, and he's going to have to force field it and really chop it up into bite-sized chunks, but it's still going to be a little bit too difficult, I feel, and now, oh, Jjakji's just going to go for it. Now the rocks are gone.
Yeah, so much firepower already. Eliminates half of the Zealots. Down go the force fields, but they don't actually contribute to anything. And Jjakji just goes all the way through a hot knife through butter is what that was. And MaNa really threw that one away, and Jjakji exploited it so well and executed what is, as you said, not a particularly good build incredibly well against his opponent, catching him completely off guard.
Yeah, and there's a couple of mistakes there by MaNa. Of course, you know, taking far too much damage from that early push, and you know, even though he loses probes early on, he would have shut it down faster, and he has a lot of chrono boost to just replace those probes. And then the second big thing was that really bad engagement with Stalkers at the front straight away. Not the best force fields, which allowed SCVs to get in there to buffer too. And unfortunately for him, I feel that he may have waited a little bit too long. You know, with 3 Immortals is the correct way to go, but 2 probably would have been better there because it would have hit faster before the Medivac count got to the point it did get at. And Jjakji pulls back a really nice win, which to a certain extent you could say that he didn't really deserve.
Well, the fact of the matter is, you know, he engaged well at the start, and he executed that strategy as well as he possibly could have, and MaNa didn't defend it well. He took so much damage, whereas he really shouldn't have. He shouldn't have allowed the bunkers to go up. He shouldn't have taken as much damage as he did. He shouldn't have gotten caught out of position. Yeah, shoulda, woulda, coulda. You can speculate from the eyes of the commentator who sees everything, but MaNa can't be feeling that great after that game and thinking, really, I just got 3-raxed? What is this?
Yeah, absolutely, and unfortunately for him, he has to, you know, shape up to go into the next game, which is going to be on Daybreak. Still, of course, possible for this to turn around, and Daybreak is a more passive map, which is going to play to MaNa's strengths.
It is. So we shall be back very soon with that game on Daybreak, folks. You're watching IronSquid, is brought to you by Astro Gaming and Twitch.tv. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Daybreak. Yes, we are frequent flyers to this particular map, and we bring you Mouse Sports MaNa in the green trunks playing Protoss to the northeast versus his opponent who took a surprising win with a really nasty opening there. It was the one and only Jjakji in the blue trunks playing Terran to the southwest.
And just to remind you once again, remember the winner and loser of this will be 2-1. 2 wins, 1 loss, or 1 loss and 2 wins. Going into the final day on Wednesday, but it's a very important win for both of these guys here. I mean, if MaNa loses this now, just goes 0-2, his last game is going to be against Life. MaNa hasn't got the best record against Zerg players, especially Korean Zergs, so that may be a very difficult game for him, the foreigner here. And remember also the 3rd Protoss within this tournament. We saw Todd go out, MC go through, MaNa's time to play, and it could go very difficult, so he's definitely going to be wanting to pick up the win here against his favorite race.
Yes, he absolutely is. And really, having won against MMA, you'd think, right, well, I can beat Jjakji, right? Jjakji is, of course, great, Code S champion, but still, he's not MMA. He's not someone of the caliber of MMA, so what ends up going on there? But I think the thing that MaNa got caught out by there was just his hyper-aggressive opening that was uncharacteristic, and he wasn't able to play that big passive macro game that he really likes.
And we do have the gas coming down, and I don't think he's going to go for this barracks aggression again. It does rarely work, and it only just managed to do enough damage in that last game. And We do see the probe manage to just escape in there for MaNa, who's scouting the gas, and upon seeing the gas, he can already be like, alright, it's going to be a factory opening, because it's really not going to... If it is going to be a barracks aggression, then it's going to be really, really weird. I guess Reaper Expand still applies, but most likely going to be seeing a factory down here by Jjakji.
Yes, that's true, and we've got MaNa just scouting around as much as he can. He will eventually end up losing that. He wants to try and kill that SCV. He would love to, but I don't think that's going to end up happening, unfortunately. And he's not getting out there alive either, so there you go. Aside from that, very standard opening here from MaNa. Takes his gas and goes straight into the Cybercore.
Let's see what he's going to do. Okay, so he builds the second Marine here. Probe's still alive, actually trying to get the second, or the last hit now. That SCV 2 hits away from dying, but the probe does go down first. And now I guess the factory does get put down here for Jjakji, and MaNa should already be in alright. This is the build he should be going for, just going for a 1 gateway expansion. Could actually cut the Stalker out of this, but he doesn't necessarily have to, can still get it, which he is going to do, but has to expand behind this now. And then probably get the robotics facility straight away after, because he's going to have to try and get those double observers out. Of course, we've seen the damage done by players if they don't get the second observer out against this kind of style, so...
Yeah, and wonky cloaked Banshee timings, all sorts of nasty things going on there. You don't want that to happen, and MaNa will be well aware of that. Sentry now coming out to just follow that up. Very, very logical. Wants to save his minerals so that he can get his expansion down momentarily. And then we do have what could... Yeah, this is going to be this nasty cloaked Banshee thing going on here, but it's at a more standard time. It's very much straight into the starport and double... gas on the main.
Yes, and he has options to change this around. He can obviously build the command center straight after the Cloak Banshee has been researched, or he can throw another tech lab onto the factory where we see maybe a Cloakless Banshee into a regular 111. But it looks like with the SCV moving down, he is building a bunker, whether it'll be as a fake and then continue like normal. But hold that thought, the SCV now are trying to get into the main base of MaNa, is going to pick up the scout of the Nexus just about and actually get into the main.
Yeah, that's a really nice move. He gets the scout on 2 more gateways, and really that should not actually have happened there, but it did, and that gives Jjakji a little bit of an edge here. Now, where is that robo? Because if he doesn't build it very soon, he's going to be in a hell of a lot of trouble. Yeah,
he should be heading it on with the next 100 gas just about now, so, and there it is coming down. Going for the robotics facility later after the second gateway, it was a more safer play. Actually, everything MaNa's done so far is very safe in terms of scouting, the sentry production, 2 sentries out, the sentry before expanding here, so he's playing very, very safe, not really trying to just counter what his opponent could be doing. We do see the expansion coming down here for Jjakji, so he is expanding behind this, but the Cloak Banshee's still going to come out. MaNa has to build 2 observers, no doubt about it. Unfortunately, MaNa tried to run a probe past the bunker, but couldn't get any information. He didn't see past the bunker, doesn't know if there's an expansion or not.
Yeah, exactly. So that might end up having the first observer just going straight across the map, and unfortunately the observer hasn't even started building yet, and it really depends. If this one goes in right now, then of course the observer will be chrono boosted straight into the natural, and the damage may be minimized, but still, some damage is going to be done one way or the other. The question is, will it be enough to justify this investment here from Jjakji? And so fast off the line is the one and only Mousesports MaNa. The cloak comes in at just the time that it needs to, and now Sentry's getting target fired down, which is in itself not great. He's going to try and run it as far away from the base as he can get it, but he met the unfriendly embrace of that destructible debris, and the second Sentry is saved for the moment. It might end up going down, but I don't think you'll want to risk the Banshee for it.
Yeah, so 3 probes and a single sentry is already worth it here, and it looks like he could be teching straight in. Oh my god, he's going to go like for a Thor push here. Armory is down, he's going to build a Thor shortly, he's taking double gas on the natural, and a weird mech play coming out here from Jjakji, which I haven't seen in a very, very long time. Banshees though,
wow.
I mean, how many kills did that other Banshee get? Nothing yet, so this is interesting. There's the first Thor coming down.
A Thor push, and there's an Immortal already on the way. I'm trying to get my head around this. I mean, there's a Raven in this mix as well, which makes this interesting to say the least. Does mean you can pick off the observers, and also with a point defense drone down, Stalkers are not going to be hugely effective either, but how well do you think this is really going to work? It's certainly going to catch MaNa completely off base. Going to think, what on earth are you doing?
Yeah, he's... I don't even know where the observer's gone. I think it's still in a defensive stance, so has no idea what's going on. The probe now going into the natural sees nothing again, unfortunately, there. Extra gateways have been thrown down. Immortals are being constructed. The thing is, Immortals are key to beating this, but the big problem here is that the Marines are going to be in the way, and he should never stop building Marines here. They're going to be his mineral sink, and we also have the +1 armor for the Thor coming down, so it's actually going to have a lot of survivability here. With the added-on Banshees in the mix, this could actually be a very dangerous push if unscouted. He can't really prepare for it. The best way to deal with this would be to start building Zealots to get the Zealot charge down and get an armor upgrade immediately for the Zealots and then go through. Because by then you'll just have so many Zealots that it'll push back the Marines, and then Immortals can have free range onto the actual Thors. But without knowing it, he's just going to go up for a Colossus here, and this is actually going to be really, really bad.
Funky 111. The funkiest 111 I've seen in a very, very long time from the one and only Jjakji. Thor Marine Banshee with a Raven in the mix and +1 armor. And I don't think MaNa's going to expect this. Certainly, he hasn't seen anything like this. I haven't seen anything like this, honestly. And you ever seen anything like this in recent memory?
Not recently, no. 3 months back I've seen it, but not recently. And we do see the Cloak Banshees going in now. They'll be able to 2-shot the Stalkers now if all of them fire at once. And, this is going to be really, really bad. Well,
yeah,
3-shot, I guess.
Yeah, 3 Cloak Banshees moving in here, and the Observer at least is there. But the Observer is kept in the base. This harassment is causing that Observer to stay in the base all the time, and there's so little information really being gained. A great Banshee control here by Jjakji. Keeps all 3 alive as well, and while we do have a couple of Immortals in play, there's 3 Thors, and he's going to have 4 very shortly. So when does this push come?
Yeah, this is really kind of, you could almost say, ignorant a little bit from MaNa not scouting. He has absolutely no idea. He knows there's 3 Banshees and that's it. He doesn't know what he's playing against or what to expect. And without that knowledge, then he's just going to get walked over. He doesn't have the correct composition to deal with this. The Thor's now coming in. Marines still building. We actually see a second factory now. 2 starports with, double Banshees can come out from here as well. +2 armor on its way in. As soon as this force walks over to MaNa, if undetected, it will literally 1 attack move and kill MaNa.
Yeah, because MaNa has no idea what he's up against, and he definitely doesn't have what he needs to deal with Thors. 2 Immortals, and Colossus. You know what's bad against Thors? Colossus. They're pretty damn terrible against Thors, as it turns out.
Yeah, and especially with 5 Cloak Banshees out, the Stalker count's incredibly low as well. And then with the Raven there, 2 Marines can do damage and potentially pick off an Observer, and Cloak Banshee does even more damage. There's actually 2 Observers on the map, but they're in defensive postures around the mineral line, of course, to help defend around. But this is looking really bad, and especially when this attack comes, and then he pulls SCVs too. Like, the SCVs repairing consistently on Banshees and Thors with auto repair. The first Observer is coming across the map, and he's going to be in for a very, very fun surprise.
A fun surprise indeed. Jjakji's ridiculous, by the way. I just want to point this out. He's lost 50 minerals worth of units this entire game. He lost 1 SCV or 1 Marine. I can't remember which, but that in itself is just insane. And now there's more Banshees coming in to do yet more harassment. There is actually a photon cannon up now to prevent that. He gets lots of information. And this Observer's going up to the 3rd base. It still hasn't found out what's going on.
Yeah, MaNa's like, wait, what? There's no 3rd base? He has no idea what's going on now, and he's going to go down and must be thinking, oh, okay, what kind of 2-base crap can this guy do at me? And he's going through all the options. He sees double gas now as well, and is like, oh god, Thor Banshee, and he sees the Thor, and is like, holy crap. Immediately throws, had the Temple Archives coming in. Archons actually will do okay against it, and I mean, even a High Templar can feed back into the Thors and do damage, but I still don't think he has enough here.
So many.
Yeah,
the 7 Thors. He's about to have 8. 7 Thors, 5 Banshees. What are you going to kill that with? Especially with that upgrade. Really smart to go for +2 plating, which is what this timing push is. Because the Zealots are going to do jack. They've got no upgrades to side blades. Thors already have very heavy armor as it is. They're going to have 4 armor. Zealots are going to tickle, honestly. And there's still a bunch of Marines here. This is going to be beautiful to behold, I think, for Terran players. And very unpleasant to behold for Protoss.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too bad if you can see what's coming and just kind of react to it, because it's 60 minutes in the game. There should have already been a third base down.
Yeah.
He should have had, you know, double the production and able to combat this, but he's very limited and just has a very small army. Storm is coming out, additional gateways coming down. Here come the SCVs too, but
good God.
As long as Jjakji doesn't mess up control and, you know, gets the observer, cloaks well enough, and Cannon's coming down because he knows he's in trouble. He knows he needs to. It's not really for defense, it's more for detection, because Banshees are just going to go crazy here, as well as the Thors, and this could be a very, very frightful sighting here, guys. I'm not gonna lie.
What is this build? I don't even know. But it's super effective if you don't scout it for 17 minutes, which is exactly what happened. Storm goes down in the center there, point defense drone deployed. Storm on the Thors as well. Feedbacks to follow that one up, and a lot of SCV slaughtered with those storms there. I tell you, man, if he holds this, it will be absolutely miraculous, but the ground force just melted, and yes, he killed a few Thors, but there's still 5 more. Plenty of Marines, and a huge amount of Cloaked Banshees now crashing their way through there. The Zealots charged directly into the guns of the Thors, and that was absolutely devastating. There's the GG, and, well, there's a new build for you to practice, guys. How about that one?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Banshees did so much damage. The initial storm was good, but the other High Templars didn't have enough energy. And when they did, they just feedbacked everything instead, which actually did a lot of damage to these Thors. But the Banshees survived. DPS, the Marines just sitting there doing the little natural little pew-pews. But that was crazy. And unfortunately for MaNa, lack of scouting, man, you just get whitewashed if that happens.
Yeah, don't scout, get the most ridiculous comp I've ever seen. You know, the only way that could have been any weirder is if the Banshees were battle cruisers, but that's great stuff here from Jjakji. Highly unorthodox stuff, which is interesting considering that what we've seen from Jjakji so far has been really straight up play. And against MaNa, he throws 3 racks, and then this funky thing. I don't even know how to explain that, but MaNa definitely wasn't prepared for it, and I doubt he knows how to explain it either. And
that's going to be very difficult now for MaNa, of course, who will be going into Wednesday's show playing against Life, and he has to win that. But our groups now, I mean, this Group C is looking interesting, of course.
It's heating up,
very
man.
Equal, and we actually could, you know, have a lot of three-way ties going on once again, as we have MMA and Jjakji equal with 2 wins and 1 loss, and then we have Stephano Stephano at 1-1, sorry, and then Life and MaNa down at 1-2 each.
Yeah, it's a very close group, it really is. We haven't had a single whitewash in this group, which is great. You know, the last 2 groups, we've had that. We've had people going 0-4. Not so in this group, an incredibly balanced and very exciting group. And some people were saying, well, you know, it's the least interesting. I would beg to differ from what we've seen in these groups today. The games have been fantastic, and some awesome play from all sides.
Yeah, it's gonna set up a fantastic Wednesday. From the looks of things, we're gonna have, of course, Stephano versus Jjakji opening up there, where we'll have, of course, Jjakji's final game here, whether he'll be 3-1 or go down to 2-2, and of course Stephano currently at 1-1, an important game there. Then we'll have that ever so important MaNa versus Life game, where we'll see can MaNa overcome his fear against the Swarm, and especially a Korean. And then with the final game, like we had in Group B, we had MC versus MVP. We're going to have Stephano versus MMA.
Morpheus is fighting Neo. That's what we want. And it's going to be a stellar finale for this particular group. And what a great day we've had today. We've seen some crazy builds, some absolutely fantastic plays from all sides. And it has been awesome. I'm looking forward to concluding this group. And also, of course, moving on to Group D, where, hell, if you like Zerg, you'll love that group.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic group there, and I'm looking forward to see Nurchio, Nesty, and Lenok all in the same there. A lot of Zerg versus Zerg, but also a little bit scary there for Alive and Haziobs.
Yeah, that's pretty damn intimidating. I hope Haziobs has been practicing his PBZ, because he's going to go through a baptism of fire in that group, I've got to say. But a nice set of games, and I tell you, man, that build from Jjakji was a bit crazy, and I suppose that build works really well if you don't scout for 17 minutes.
Yeah, it does. It does, and that's a little bit unfortunate there for MaNa, but that's what happens.
It does. We have seen a couple of players fall down to lack of scouting in this particular tournament, and no doubt they will not be the last to do so either, but And a really great game from Jjakji. I'm a fan. What can I say? That's a great TvP style that he's come up with there. I want to see more of Jjakji going forward. Alright folks, that is us about done for this particular show. Hopefully you've enjoyed this extended edition of IronSquid, ramping things up so that we can get things sorted out and tied up before we move into the round of 8, where we will not be using replays, I might add. It's going to be live from there on in.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic, and you know we're not far away now as well, considering we are doing 3 to 4 games per show. So
yes.
we're wrapping up Group C on Wednesday, and then going through Group D incredibly fast after that, and that's when the live stuff comes in, and the pressure starts to mount for these players who are fighting for a lot of money, of course.
Oh, yes. All right, folks. Hopefully you've enjoyed this show as much as we have, and please remember to check out IronSquid.tv for all the VODs, as well as Facebook and Twitter links. If you do want to follow us on Twitter, we do tend to let you guys know when shows are coming on, so follow Total Biscuit and Diapollo1337. Thanks to our sponsors, Astro Gaming and Twitch.tv, and thank you to you guys for watching and making this tournament a success. My name has been Total Biscuit.
And I've been Diapollo.
And we shall see you next time.